Partnerships in the technology business, they take many forms. For example, technology engineering partnerships, they drive value in terms of things like integration and simplification for customers. There are product partnerships. They fill gaps to create more comprehensive portfolios and more fluid relationships. Partner ecosystems offer high touch services. They offer managed services, specialty services, and other types of value based off of strong customer knowledge and years of built up trust. Partner ecosystems have evolved quite dramatically over the last decade with the explosion of data and the popularity of cloud models, public, private, hybrid, cross clouds. Yes, it's true, partnerships are about selling solutions, but they're also about building long-term sustainable trust where a seller learns the ins and outs of a customer's organization and can anticipate needs that are going to drive bottom line profits for both sides of the equation, the buyer and the seller. Hello and welcome to our program. My name is Dave Vellante, and along with Lisa Martin, we're going to explore how Hitachi Vantara drives customer success with its partners. First up, Lisa speaks with Kim King. She's the Senior Vice President of Strategic Partners and Alliances at Hitachi Vantara. And they'll set the table for us with an overview of how Hitachi is working with partners and where their priorities are focused. Then Russell Skingsley, he's the CTO and Global VP of Technical Sales at Hitachi Vantara. He joins Lisa for a discussion of the tech, and they're going to get into cloud generally and hybrid cloud specifically and the role that partners play in the growing as a service movement. Now after that, I'll talk with Tom Christensen. He's the Global Technology Advisor and Executive Analyst at Hitachi Vantara, and we're going to talk about a really important topic, sustainability. We're going to discuss where it came from, why it matters, and how it can drive bottom line profitability for both customers and partners. Let's get right to it.
We're for the data-driven. For those who understand clarity is currency, believe progress requires precision, and know neutral is not an option. We're for the data-driven. The ones who can't tolerate failure, who won't put up with downtime, or allow access to just anyone. We're for the data-driven, who act on insight instead of instinct, bank on privacy instead of probabilities, and rely on resilience instead of reaction. We see ourselves in the obsessive, the incessant progressive, and the meticulously engineered. We enable the incredible, identify with the analytical, and are synonymous with the mission critical. We know what it means to be data-driven because data is in our DNA. We were born industrial, and we breathe digital. We speak predictive analytics so you can keep supply chains moving. We bleed in-store and online insights so you can accurately predict customer preferences. We sweat security and digital privacy so you can turn complex regulations into competitive advantage. We break down barriers and eliminate silos so you can go from data-rich to data-driven. Because it's clear, the future belongs to the data-driven.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this conversation. Lisa Martin here with Kim King, the SVP of Strategic Partners and Alliances at Hitachi Vantara. Kim, it's great to have you on the program. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Lisa. It's great to be here.
Let's talk about, so as we know, we talk about cloud all the time, the landscape, the cloud infrastructure landscape, increasingly getting more and more complex. What are some of the biggest challenges and pain points that you're hearing from customers today?
Yeah, so there are lots, but I would say the few that we hear consistently are cost, the complexity, right? Really the complexity of where do they go, how do they do it, and then availability. They have a lot of available options, but again, going back to complexity and cost, where do they think that they should move, and how do they make that a successful move to the cloud?
So talk to me, Hitachi Vantara has a great partner ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Where do partners play a role, in helping customers to address some of the challenges with respect to the cloud landscape?
Yeah, so our partners are really leading the way in the area of cloud in terms of helping customers understand the complexity of the cloud, as we talked about. They're truly the trusted advisor. So when they look at a customer's complete infrastructure, what are the workloads? What are the critical applications that they work with? What's the unique architecture that they have to drive with that customer for a successful outcome, and help them architect that? And so partners are truly leading the way across the board, understanding the complexities of each individual customer and then helping them make the right decisions with and for them, and then bringing us along as part of that.
Talk to me a little bit about the partner landscape, the partner ecosystem at Hitachi Vantara. How does this fit into the overall strategy for the company?
So we really look at our ecosystem as an extension of our sales organization, and really extension across the board. I would say our goal is to marry the right customer with the right partner and help them achieve their goals, ensure that they keep costs in check, that they ensure they don't have any security concerns, and that they have availability for the solutions and applications that they're trying to move to the cloud, which is most important. So we really look at our ecosystem as a specialty ecosystem that adds high value for the right customers.
So Kim, talk to me about how partners fit into Hitachi Vantara's overall strategy.
So I think our biggest differentiators with partners is that they're not just another number. Our partner organization is that valued extension of our overall sales, pre-sales services organization, and we treat them like an extension of our organization. It's funny because I was just on a call with an analyst earlier this week, and they said that AWS has increased their number of partners to 150,000 partners from, it was just under 100,000. And I'm really not sure how you provide quality engagement to partners, right? And how is that really a sustainable strategy? So for us, we look at trusted engagement across the ecosystem as a differentiation. Really, our goal is to make their life simple and profitable, and really become their primary trusted partner when we go to market with them. And we see that paying dividends with our partners as they engage with us and as they expand and grow across the segments, and then grow globally with us as well.
And that's key, right? That synergistic approach. When you're in customer conversations, what do you articulate as the key competitive differentiators where it relates to your partners?
So really that they're the trusted advisor for that partner, right? That they understand our solutions better than any solution out there. And because we're not trying to be all things to our customers and our partners, that we bring best of breed solutions to our customers through our partner community, they can truly provide that end user experience and the successful outcome that's needed without, sort of all kinds of, crazy challenges, right? When you look at it, they really want to make sure that they're driving that co-developed solution and the successful outcome for that customer.
So then, how do you feel that Hitachi Vantara helps partners really to grow and expand their own business?
Wow. So there's tons of ways, but we've created a very simplified, what we call digital selling platform. And in that digital selling platform, we've allowed our partners to choose their own price and pre-approve their pricing and their promotions. We've expanded the way we go to market with our partners from a sort of a technical capabilities. We give them online, what we call Hitachi Online Labs, that allow them to really leverage all of the solutions and demo systems out there today. And they have complete access to any one of our resources, product management. And so we really have, like I said, we actually provide our partners with better tools and resources sometimes than we do our own sales and pre-sales organization. So we look at them as, because they have so many other solutions out there, that we have to be one step ahead of everybody else to give them that solution capability and the expertise that they need for their customers.
So if you dig in, where is it that Hitachi Vantara is helping partners succeed with your portfolio?
Wow. So I think just across the board, I think we're really driving that profitable, trusted, and simplified engagement with our partner community. Because it's a value-based and ease of doing business, I say that we allow them to scale and drive that sort of double-digit growth through all of the solutions and offerings that we have today. And because we've taken the approach of a very complex technical sort of infrastructure from a high-end perspective and scaled it all the way through to our mid-size enterprise that allows them to really enter any customer at any vertical and provide them a really quality solution with that 100% data availability guarantee that we provide all of our customers.
So then if we look at the overall sales cycle and the engagements, where is it that you're helping your partners rather succeed with the portfolio?
Say that again. Sorry. My brain.
No worries. So if we look at the overall sales cycle, where is it specifically where you're helping customers to succeed with the portfolio?
So from the sales cycle, I think because we have a solution that is simple, easy, and really scaled for the type of customer that we have out there, it allows them to basically right-size their infrastructure based on the application, the workload, the quality, or the need that application may have, and ensure that we provide them with that best solution.
So then from a partner's perspective, how is it that Hitachi Vantara is helping them to actually close deals faster?
So lots of great ways. I think between our pre-sales organization that's on call and available 100% of the time, I think that we've seen, again, the trusted engagement with them from a pricing and packaging perspective. 2 years ago, it would take them 2 to 3 weeks to get a pre-approved quote, where today they pre-approve their own quotes in less than an hour and can have that in the hands of a customer. So we've seen that the ability for our partners to create and close orders in very short periods of time and actually get to the customer's needs very quickly.
So dramatically faster. Talk about overall, so the partner relationship's quite strong, very synergistic that Hitachi Vantara has with its customers. Let's kind of step back out and look at the cloud infrastructure. How do you see it evolving, the market evolving overall in, say, the next 6 months, 12 months?
Yeah, so we see it significantly. We've been doing a lot of studies around this specifically. So we have a couple of different teams. We have our standard partner team that's out there, and now we have a specialty cloud service provider team that really focuses on partners that are building and their own infrastructure or leveraging the infrastructure of a large hyperscaler or another GSI and selling that out. And then what we found is when we dig down deeper into our standard sort of partner reseller or value-added reseller market, what we're seeing is that they want to have the capability to resell the solution, but they don't necessarily want to have to own and manage the infrastructure themselves. So we're helping both of them through that transition. We see that it's funny because you're seeing a combination of many customers move to really the hyperscaler public cloud, and many of them want to repatriate their infrastructure back because they see cost and they see challenges around all of that. And so our partners are helping them understand, again, what is the best solution for them, as opposed to let's just throw everything in the public cloud and hope that it works. We're really helping them make the right choices and decisions, and we're putting the right partners together to make that happen.
And how is that feedback, that data, helping you to really grow and expand the partner program as a whole?
Yeah, so it's been fantastic. We have a whole methodology that we created, which is called PDM, Plan, Develop, Monetize with Partners. And so we went specifically to market with cloud service providers and we really tested this out with them. We didn't just take a solution and say, here, go sell it. Good luck and have a nice day. Many vendors are doing that to their partners, and the partners are struggling to monetize those solutions. So we spend a lot of time up front planning with them what is not only the storage infrastructure, but potentially your data resiliency and everything else that you're looking at, your security solutions. How do we package those all together? How do we help you monetize them? And then who do you target from a customer perspective so that they've built up a pipeline of opportunities that they can go and work with us on? And we really sit side by side with them in a co-development environment.
In terms of that side-by-side relationship, how does the partner ecosystem play a role in Hitachi Vantara's as a service business?
So our primary go-to-market with our as-a-service business is with and through partners. So our goal is to drive almost all of our as-a-service, unless it's super highly complex and something that a partner cannot support, we will make sure that we leverage that with them, with all of our partners.
So strong partner relationships, very strong partner ecosystem. What would you say, Kim, are the priorities for the partner ecosystem going forward the next, say, year?
Yeah, so we have tons of priorities, right? I think really it's double-digit growth for them and for us. And understanding how a simpler approach that's customized for the specific vertical or customer base or go-to-market that they have that helps them quickly navigate to be successful. Our goal is always to facilitate trusted engagements with our partners, right? And then really, as I said, directionally, our goal is to be 95 to 100% of all of our business through partners, which helps customers, and then really use that trusted advisor status they have to provide that value base to the customer. And then going back on our core tenets, which are really a trusted, simplified, profitable engagement with our partner community that allows them to really drive successful outcomes and go to market with us and the end users.
Trust is such an important word. We can't underutilize it in these conversations. Last question, from a channel business perspective, what are some of the priorities coming down the pike?
Oh, again, my biggest priority, right, is always to increase the number of partner success stories that we have and increase the value to our partners. So we really dig in. We right now sit about number 1 or number 2 in our space with our partners in ease of doing business and value to our channel community. We want to be number 1 across the board, right? Our goal is to make sure that our partner community is successful and that they really have those profitable engagements, and that we're globally working with them to drive that engagement and help them build more profitable businesses. And so we just take tons of feedback from our partners regularly to help them understand, but we act on it very quickly so that we can make sure we incorporate that into our new program and our go-to-markets as we roll out every year.
It sounds like a great flywheel of communications from the partners. Kim, thank you so much for joining me today, talking about what Hitachi Vantara is doing with its partner ecosystem, the value in it for customers. We appreciate your insights.
Thank you very much.
Up next, Russell Skingsley joins me, CTO and Global VP of Technical Sales at Hitachi Vantara. You're watching theCUBE, the leader in live tech coverage. Hey everyone, welcome back to our conversation with Hitachi Vantara. Lisa Martin here with Russell Skillingsley, the CTO and Global VP of Technical Sales at Hitachi Vantara. Russell, welcome to the program.
Hi Lisa, nice to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. So here we are, the end of calendar year 2022. What are some of the things that you're hearing out in the field in terms of customers' priorities for 2023?
Yeah, good one. Just to set the scene here, we tend to deal with enterprises that have mission critical IT environments, and this has been our heritage and continues to be our major strength. So just to set the scene here, that's the type of customers predominantly I'd be hearing from, and so that's what you're going to hear about here. Now, in terms of 2023, one of the macro concerns that's hitting almost all of our customers right now, as you can probably appreciate, is power consumption, and closely related to that is the whole area of ESG and decarbonisation and all of that sort of thing. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one because that would be a whole session in itself, really. But sufficient to say, it is a priority for us, and we're very active in that area. So aside from that one, that big one, there's also a couple that are pretty much in common for most of our customers, and we're in areas that we can help. One of those is in an exponential growth of the amount of data It's predicted that the world's data is going to triple by 2025 as opposed to where it was in 2020. And I think everyone's contributing to that, including a lot of our customers. So just the act of managing that amount of data is a challenge in itself. And I think closely related to that, a desire to use that data better to be able to gain more business insights and potentially create new business outcomes and business ideas is another one of those big challenges. In that sense, I think a lot of our customers are in what I would kind of I affectionately call the post-Facebook awakening era. And what I mean by that is our traditional businesses, when Facebook came along, they kind of illustrated, hey, I can actually make some use out of what is seemingly an enormous amount of useless data, which is exactly what Facebook did. They took a whole lot of people's, the minutiae of people's lives and turned it into, advertising revenue by gaining insights from those, sort of seemingly useless bits of data. And, right. And I think this actually gave rise to a lot of digital business at that time. This whole idea of what all you really need to be successful and disrupt the business is a great idea, an app and a whole bunch of data to power it. And I think that a lot of our traditional customers are looking at this and wondering, how do they get into the act? Because they've been collecting data for decades, an enormous amount of data, right?
Yes, every company these days has to be a data company, but to your point, they've got to be able to extract those insights, monetize it, and create real value, new opportunities for the business at record speed.
Yes, that's exactly right. And so being able to wield that data somehow, it kind of turns our customers' attentions to the type of infrastructure they've got as well. I mean, if you think about those companies that have been really successful in leveraging that data, a lot of them have, especially in the early days, leveraged the cloud to be able to build out their capabilities. And the reason why the cloud became such a pivotal part of that is because it offered self-service IT and easy development platforms to those people that had these great ideas. All they needed was access to the provider's website and a credit card, and now all of a sudden they could start to build a business from that. And I think a lot of our traditional IT customers are looking at this and thinking, now how do I build a similar sort of infrastructure? How do I provide that kind of self-service capability to the owners of business inside my company, rather than the IT company sort of being a gatekeeper to a selected set of software packages? How now do I provide this development platform for those internal users? And I think this is why really hybrid cloud has become the de facto IT sort of architectural standard, even for quite traditional IT companies.
So when it comes to hybrid cloud, what are some of the challenges that customers are facing? And then I know Hitachi has a great partner ecosystem. How are partners helping Hitachi Vantara and its customers to eliminate or solve some of those hybrid cloud challenges?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's not 1975 anymore. It's not like you're going to get all of your IT needs from one vendor. Hybrid by sort of its by definition is going to involve multiple pieces, and so there basically is no hybrid at all without a partner ecosystem. You really can't get everything at a one-stop shop like you used to. But even if you think about the biggest public cloud provider on the planet, AWS, even it has a marketplace for partner solutions. So even they see, even for customers that might consider themselves to be all in on public cloud, they are still going to need other pieces, which is where their marketplace comes in. Now, for us, we're a company that we've been in the IT business for over 60 years, one of the few that could claim that sort of heritage. And we've seen a lot of this type of change ourselves, this change of attitude from being able to provide everything yourself to being someone who contributes to an overall ecosystem. So partners are absolutely essential. And so now we kind of have a partner first philosophy. when it comes to our routes to market on, not just our own products in terms of, a resale channel or whatever, but also making sure that we're working with some of the biggest players in hybrid infrastructure, and determining where we can add value to that in our own solutions. And so, when it comes to those partner ecosystems, we're always looking for the spaces where we can best add our own capability to those prevailing IT architectures that are successful in the marketplace. And, I think that it's probably fair to say, for us, first and foremost, we have a reputation for having the biggest, most reliable storage infrastructure available on the planet. And we make no apologies for the fact that we tout our speeds and feeds and uptime supremacy. A lot of our competitors would suggest that, hey, speeds and feeds don't matter, but that's kind of what you say when you're not the fastest or not the most reliable. Of course they matter. And for us, the way that we look at this is we say, let's look at who's providing the best possible hybrid solutions, and let's partner with them to make those solutions even better. That's the way we look at it.
Can you peel the onion a little bit on the technology underpinning the solutions? Give me a glimpse into that, and then maybe add some color in terms of how partners are enhancing that.
Yeah, let me do that with a few examples here. Maybe what I can do is I can sort of share some insight about the way we think with partnering with particular people and why it's a good blend, or why we see that technologically it's a good blend. So, for example, the work we do with VMware, which we consider to be one of our most important hybrid cloud partners. And in fact, it's my belief they have one of the strongest hybrid cloud stories in the industry. It resonates really strongly with our customers as well. But we think it's made so much better with the robust underpinnings that we provide. We're one of the few storage vendors that provides a 100% data availability guarantee. So we take that sort of level of reliability and we add other aspects like life cycle management of the underpinning infrastructure. We combine that with what VMware is doing, and then when you look at our converged or hyper-converged solutions with them, it's a better together story where you now have what is one of the best hybrid cloud stories in the industry with VMware. But now for the on-premise part especially, you've now added 100% data availability guarantee, and you've made managing the underlying infrastructure so much easier through the tools that we provide that go down to that level, a level underneath where VMware are. And so that's VMware. I've got a couple more examples just to sort of fill that out a bit. Cisco is another very strong partner of ours, a key partner. And I mean, you look at Cisco, they're a $50 billion IT provider, and they don't have a dedicated storage infrastructure of their own. So they're going to partner with someone. From our perspective, we look at Cisco's customers and we look at them and think they're very similar to our own in terms of they're known to appreciate performance and reliability and a bit of premium in quality, and we think we match them quite well. They're already buying what we believe are the best converged platforms in the industry from Cisco. So it makes sense that those customers would want to complement that investment with the best storage arrays they can get. And so we think we're helping Cisco's customers make the most of their decision to be UCS customers. Final one for you, Lisa, by way of example, we have a relationship with Equinix, and Equinix is the world's sort of leading colo provider, and the way I think they like to think of themselves, and I do tend to agree with them, is they're one of the most compelling high-speed interconnect networks in the world. They're connected to all of the significant cloud providers in most of the locations around the world. We have a relationship with them where we find we have customers in common who really love the idea of compute from the cloud. Compute from the cloud is great because compute is something that you're doing for a set period of time and then it's over. You have a task, you do some compute, it's done. Cloud is beautiful for that. Storage, on the other hand, is very long-lived. Storage doesn't tend to operate in that same sort of way. It sort of just becomes a bigger and bigger blob over time. And so the cost model around public cloud and storage is not as compelling as it is for compute. And so with our relationship with Equinix, we help our customers to be able to create, let's call it a data anchor point, where they put our arrays into an Equinix location, and then they utilize Equinix's high-speed interconnects to the cloud providers to take the compute from them. So they take the compute from the cloud providers and they own their own storage. And in this way, they feel like we've now got the best of all worlds.
Right.
What I hope that illustrates, Lisa, is with those three examples, is we are always looking for ways to find our key advantages with any given, alliance partners' advantages.
Right. When you're in customer conversations, in our final few minutes here, I want to get, what are some of the key differentiators that you talk about when you're in customer conversations? And then how does the partner ecosystem fit into Hitachi Vantara's as a service business? We'll start with differentiators and then let's move into the as a service business. We can round out with that.
Okay, let's start with the differentiators. Firstly, and hopefully I've hit this point hard enough, we do believe that we have the fastest and most reliable storage infrastructure on the planet. This is kind of what we're known for. And customers that are working with us already sort of have an appreciation for that. And so they're looking for, okay, you've got that. Now, how can you make my hybrid cloud aspirations better? So we do have that as a fundamental, right? So, but secondly, I'd say, I think it's also because we go beyond just storage management and into the areas of data management. We've got solutions that are not just about storing the bits. We do think that we do that very well, but we also have solutions that move into the areas of enrichment of the data, cataloging of the data, classification of the data, and most importantly, analytics. So, we think it's some of our competitors just stop at storing stuff. And some of our competitors are in the analytics space, but we feel that we can bridge that, and we think that that's a competitive advantage for us. One of the other areas that I think is key for us as well is, as I said, we're one of the few vendors who've been in the marketplace for 60 years, and we think this gives us a more nuanced perspective about things. There are many things in the industry, trends that have happened over time where we feel we've seen this kind of thing before, and I think we will see it again. But you only really get that perspective if you're long lived in the industry. And so we believe that our conversations with our customers bear a little bit more sophistication. It's not just about what's the latest and greatest trends.
Right. We've got about 1 minute left. Can you round us out with how the partner ecosystem is playing a role in the as a service business?
They're absolutely pivotal in that. We ourselves don't own data centers, right? So we don't provide our own cloud services out. So we're 100% partner focused when it comes to that aspect. Our formula is to help partners build their cloud services with our solutions and then on-sell them to their customers as a service. And by quick way of example, VMware, for example, they've got nearly 5,000 partners selling VMware cloud services. 5,000 blows me away. And many of them are our partners too. So we kind of see this as a virtuous cycle. We've got product, we've got an alliance with VMware, and we work together with partners in common for the delivery of an as a service business.
Got it. So as you said, the partner ecosystem is absolutely pivotal. Russell, it's been a pleasure having you on the program, talking about all things hybrid cloud challenges, how Hitachi Vantara is working with its partner ecosystems to really help customers across industries solve those big problems. We really appreciate your insights and your time.
Thank you very much, Lisa. It's been great.
Yeah. For Russell Kingsley, I'm Lisa Martin. In a moment, we're going to continue our conversation with Tom Christensen. Stay tuned.
Salford Royal has always embraced digital technology. We were amongst the first hospitals in the UK to install a full electronic patient record system. Unfortunately, as a result of being a pioneer, we often find that there's gaps in the digital solutions. My involvement has been from the very start of this programme. a group of us got together to discuss what the problems actually were in the hospital and how we could solve this.
The Digital Control Centre is an innovation that's been designed in partnership between ourselves and Hitachi, and it's designed to bring all of the information that is really critical for delivering effective and high quality patient care together. The DCC is designed not only to improve the lives of patients but also of our staff, giving us information that our demand is going to increase and the number of patients needing support. The technology that we're building can be replicated across Salford, the NCA and the wider NHS, including social care and community services, because it brings all of that information that is essential for delivering high quality, efficient care.
The DCC will save time for both staff and, more importantly, our patients. It will leave clinicians to care for patients rather than administrate systems, and it will allow the system that I work with in the patient flow team to effectively and safely place patients in clinically appropriate environments.
But we chose to partner with Hitachi to deliver the DCC here at Salford. They were willing to work with us to co-produce and design a product that really would work within the environment that we find ourselves, in a hospital, in a community setting, in a social care setting.
My hopes for the DCC is that ultimately we will provide more efficient and reliable care for our patients.
I do believe the Digital Control Centre will improve the lives of staff and also the patients, so that we can then start to deliver the real change that's needed for patient care.
Okay, we're back with Tom Christensen, who's the Global Technology Advisor and Executive Analyst at Hitachi Vantara. And we're exploring how Hitachi Vantara drives customer success specifically with partners. You know, Tom, it's funny. Back in the early part of last decade, there was this big push around, remember it was called green IT. And then the 07, 08 financial crisis sort of put that on the back burner. But sustainability is back, and it seems to be emerging as a mega trend in IT. Are you seeing this? Is it same wine, new label? How real is this trend, and where's the pressure coming from?
Well, we clearly see that sustainability is a mega trend in the IT sector. And when we talk to CIOs or senior IT leaders, or simply just invite them in for a roundtable on this topic, they all tell us that they get the pressure from three different angles. The first one is really end consumers, and end consumers nowadays are beginning to ask questions about the green profile and what are the company doing for the environment. And this one here is both private and public companies as well. The second pressure that we see is coming from the government. The government thinks that companies are not moving fast enough, so they want to put laws in that are forcing companies to move faster. And we see that in Germany as an example where they are giving a law into enterprise companies to following human rights and sustainability 3 levels back in the supply chain. But we also see that in EU, they are talking about a new law that they want to put into action. And that one will replicate to 27 countries in Europe. But this one is not only Europe, it's the rest of the world, where governments are talking about forcing companies to move faster than we have done in the past. So we see two types of pressure coming in. And at the same time, this one here starts off at the CEO at a company because they want to have the competitive edge and be able to be relevant in the market. And for that reason, they're beginning to put KPIs on themselves as the CEO, but they're also hiring sustainability officers with sustainability KPIs. And when that happens, it replicates down in the organization. And we can now see that some CIOs, they have a KPI, others are indirectly measured. So we see direct and indirect. The same with CFOs and other C-levels, they all get measured on it. And for that reason, it replicates down to IT people. And that's what they tell us on these roundtables. I get that pressure every day, every week, every quarter. But where is the pressure coming from? Well, the pressure is coming from end consumers and new laws that are put into action that force companies to think differently and have focus on their green profile and doing something good for the environment. So those are the three pressures that we see. But when we talk to CFOs, as an example, we're beginning to see that they have a new score system where they put out requests for proposal. And this one is in about 58% of all requests for proposal that we receive, that they are asking for our sustainability take. What are you doing as a vendor? And in their score system, cost has the highest priority. And number two is sustainability. It weights about 15, 20 to 25% when they look at your proposal that you submit to a CFO. But in some cases, the CFO say, I don't even know where the pressure is coming from. I'm asked to do it. Or they're asked to do it because end consumers, laws, and so on are forcing them to do it. But I would answer, yeah, sustainability has become a mega trend this year, and it's even growing faster and faster every month we move forward.
Yeah, Tom, it feels like it's here to stay this time. And your point about public policy is right on. We saw the EU leading with privacy and GDPR, and it looks like it's going to lead again here. You know, just shifting gears, I've been to a number of Hitachi facilities in my day. Odawara is my favorite because on a clear day, you can see Mount Fuji, but other plants I've been to as well. What does Hitachi do in the production facility to reduce CO2 emissions?
Yeah, I think you're hitting a good point here. So what we have a facility in Japan, and we have one in Europe, and we have one in America as well, to keep our production close to our customers and reduce transportation from the factory out to our customers. But you know, in the EMEA region, back in 2013, we created a new factory. And when we did that, we were asked to do it in an energy neutral way, which means that we're moving from being powered by black energy to green energy in that factory. And we built a factory with concrete walls that were extremely thick to make it cold in the summertime and hot in the wintertime with minimum energy consumption. But we also put 17,000 square meters of solar panel on the roof to power that factory. We were collecting rainwaters to flush it in the toilet. We were removing light bulbs with LED. And when we sent out our equipment to our customers, we put it in a rack instead of sending out 25 packages to a customer. We want to reduce the waste as much as possible. And you know, this one was pretty new back in 2013. It was actually the biggest project in EMEA at that time. I would say if you want to build a factory today, that's the way you're going to do it. But it has a huge impact for us when electricity is going up in price and oil and gas prices are coming up. We are running with energy neutral in our facility, which is a big benefit for us going forward, but it's also a competitive advantage to be able to explain what we have been doing the last 8-9 years in that factory. We are actually walking the talk, and we made that decision, even though it was a really hard decision to do back in 2013. When you do decisions like this one here, the return of investment is not coming the first couple of years. It's something that comes far out in the future. But right now, we are beginning to see the benefit of the decision we made back in 2013.
I want to come back to the economics, but before I do, I want to pick up on something you just said, because you know, you hear the slogan, sustainability by design. A lot of people might think, okay, that's just a marketing slogan to vector into this mega trend. But it sounds like it's something that you've been working on for quite some time based on your last comments. Can you add some color to that?
Yeah, so, you know, the factory is just one example of what you need to do to reduce the CO2 emission in that part of the life of a product. The other one is really innovating new technology to drive down the CO2 emission. And here we are laser focused on what we call decarbonization by design. And this one is something that we've done the last 8 years. So this is far from new for us. So between each generation of products that we have put out over the last 8 years, we've been able to reduce the CO2 emission by up to 30 to 60% between each generation of products that we have put into the market. So we are laser focused on driving that one down, but we are far from done. we still got 8 years before we hit our first target, net zero, in 2030. So we got a roadmap where we want to achieve even more with new technology. At its core, Hitachi is a technology innovator, and our answers to reduce the CO2 emission and the decarbonization of a data center is going to be through innovating new technology, because it has the speed, the scale, and the impact to make it possible to reach your sustainability objectives going forward.
How about recycling? Where does that fit? I mean, the other day it was, a lot of times at a hotel, you used to get bottled water. Now you get, plant-based, waters in a box. And so we're seeing it all around us. But for a manufacturer of your size, recycling and circular economy, how does that fit into your plans?
Yeah, let me try to explain what we're doing here, because one thing is how you produce it. Another thing is how you innovate all that new technology, but you also need to combine that with service and software. Otherwise, you won't get the full benefit. So what we're doing here when it comes to exploring circular economics, it's a kind of where we have an eternity mindset. We want to see if it is possible to get nothing out to the landfill. This is the aim that we are looking at. So when you buy a product today, you get an option to keep it in your data center for up to 10 years. But what we want to do when you keep it for 10 years is to upgrade only parts of the system. So let's say that you need more CPU power, you just switch the controller to next generation controller and you get more CPU power in your storage system to keep it those 10 years. But you can also expand with new disk media, flash media. Even media that doesn't exist today will be supported over those 10 years. You can change your protocol in the front end of your system to have new protocols and connect to your server environment with the latest and greatest technology. See, the benefit here is that you don't have to put your system into a truck and a recycle process after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You can actually postpone that one for 10 years. And this one is reducing the emission again. But once we take it back, you put it on the truck and we take it into our recycling facility. And here we take our own equipment like compute, network, and switches, but we also take competitive equipment in, and we recycle as much as we can. In many cases, it's only 1% that goes to the landfill or 2% that goes to the landfill. The remaining material will go into new products, either in our cycle or in other parts of the electronic industry. So it will be reused for other products. So when we look at what we've been doing for many years, that has been linear economics, where you buy material, you make your product, you put it into production, and it goes into the landfill afterwards. The recycling economics is really, you buy material, you make your product, you put it into production, and you recycle as much as possible. The remaining part will go into the landfill. But where we are right now is exploring circular economics, where you actually buy material, make it, put it into production, and you reuse as much as you can. And only 1-2% is going into the landfill right now. So we have come along, and we honestly believe that the circular economics is the new economics going forward for many industries in the world.
Yeah, and that addresses some of the things that we were talking about earlier about sustainability by design. You have to design that so that you can take advantage of that circular economy. I do want to come back to the economics because, in the early days of so-called green IT, there was a lot of talk about, well, I'll never be able to lower the power bill, and the facilities people don't talk to the IT people, and that's changed. So explain why sustainability is good business, not just an expense item, but can really drive bottom line profitability. I understand it's going to take some time, but help us understand your experience there, Tom.
Yeah, let me try to explain that one. You often get the question about sustainability. Isn't that a cost? I mean, how much does it cost to get that green profile? But, in reality, when you do a deep dive into the data center, you realize that sustainability is a cost-saving activity. And this one is quite interesting. And we have now done more than 1,200 data center assessment around the world where we have looked at data centers. And let me give you just an average number. from a global bank that we work with. And this one is not different from all the other cases that we are doing. So when we look at the storage area, what we can do on the electricity by moving an old legacy data center into a new modernized infrastructure is to reduce the electricity by 96%. This is a very high number and a lot of money that you save. But the CO2 emission is reduced by 96% as well. The floor space can go up to 35% reduction as well. When we move down to the compute part, we're talking about 61% reduction in electricity on the compute part, just by moving from legacy to new modern infrastructure, and 61% on the CO2 emission as well. And see, this one here is quite interesting because you save electricity and you do something really good for the environment at the same time. In this case I'm talking about here, the customer was paying $2.5 million annually. And by just modernizing that infrastructure, we could bring it down to 1.1 million. This is 1.4 million savings straight into your pocket. And you can start the next activity here, looking at moving from virtual machine to containers. Containers only use 10% of the CPU resources compared to a virtual machine. Move up to the application layer if you have that kind of capability in your organization. Modernizing your application with sustainability by design, and you can reduce the CO2 emission by up to 50%. There's so much we can do in that data center, but we often start at the infrastructure first, and then we move up in the chain, and we give customers benefit in all these different layers.
Yeah, a big theme of this program today is what you guys are doing with partners. Are partners aware of this in your view? Are they in tune with it? Are they demanding it? What message would you like to give the channel partners, resellers, and distributors who may be watching?
So the way to look at it is that we offer a platform with product, service, and software, and that platform can elevate the conversation much higher up in the organization. And partners get the opportunity here to go up and talk to sustainability officers about what we are doing. They can even take it up to the CEO and talk about how can you reach your sustainability KPI in the data center. What we see in these roundtables when we have sustainability officers in the room is that they are very focused on the green profile and what is going out of the company. They rarely have a deep understanding of what is going on in the data center. Why? Because it's really technical and they don't have that background. So just by elevating the conversation to these sustainability officers, you can tell them what they should measure and how they should measure that. And you can be sure that that will replicate down to the CIO and the CFO, and that will meet it in your request for proposal going forward. So this one here is really a golden opportunity to take that story, go out and talk to different people in the organization to be relevant and have an impact and make it more easy for you to win that proposal when it gets out.
Well, really solid story on a super important topic. Thanks, Tom. Really appreciate your time and taking us through your perspectives.
Thank you, Dave, for the invitation.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, in a moment, we'll be back to summarize our final thoughts. Keep it right there.
Click by click, the world is changing. We make sense of our world by making sense of data. You can draw more meaning from more data than was ever possible before, so that every thought and every action can build your path to intelligent innovation, to change the way the world works. Hitachi Vantara.
Okay, thanks for watching the program. We hope you gained a better understanding of how Hitachi Vantara drives customer success with its partners. If you want to learn more about how you can partner for profit, check out the Partner Together page at hitachivantara.com. And there's a link on the web page here that will take you right to that page. Okay, that's a wrap. For Lisa Martin, this is Dave Vellante with theCUBE, your leader in enterprise and emerging tech coverage.